No, I gotta admit that video Rex did was kind of lazy, but that's his cup of tea. Hello, folks. Welcome back to Fearox Frank Reviews. Now, yes, I am well aware of the fact that we have two celebrities who recently just passed away: Gene Hackman and the girl, and of course Michelle. Recently, Michelle T. I'm not gonna say her last name because of the fact that I can't really pronounce her last name, which is kind of sad because she and I are almost around the same age. So, yeah, except except she's about maybe a year and a half older than I am, so close to the same age, I guess. So, is my next review going to be any one of their movies exactly? Well, no. I mean, the only film I've had of Michelle T is actually Euro Trip, and I already made my decision to review this particular movie today. And there is a movie with Gene Hackman I do want to do, but I decided not to do it today. I figured, too close. It's too close to call, and to be fair, I did say I was going to review this movie next month. We're gonna. So yeah, there's also a toss up. Like, I was going to toss up between doing a submarine movie or a kaiju film today, but I wasn't really feeling up to it, so I decided to go with a standard thriller film. So all those movies I suggested like Euro Trip, the submarine film with like Gene Hackman. Oh yeah, you can bet your ass I'm going to be reviewing those films next month, as well as two other movies I want, as well as the other movies as well, including the kaiju film. Today's film is a film starring Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin. All right. Before you say anything about Alec Baldwin, write him in the comments section because I am not going to say anything about it. Because I'm pretty much sick to death of all this shit with Baldwin. Okay. Anyway, today's movie is a action thriller by the name of Mercury Rising. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Yes, Mercury Rising. It's a unique little film about an FBI agent who's actually trying to save the life of an autistic boy from an NSA agent who wants to have him killed all because of the fact he was able to read a government code without even decoding it by any means. It naturally just comes to him. Yep, it's action thriller, and today we're going to review it. So, without any further ado, let's get started with the movie, shall we? The movie begins within South Dakota, where we see a hostage situation going on with a militant group uh, comprised mostly of a couple of adults and of a few adults and three kids, well, three teenagers. One of the men is actually undercover agent Arthur Jeffries, played by Bruce Willis. Morbius tries his best trying to convince the leader that they have to try to give up. Unfortunately, another FBI agent says they're going to move it. They're going to move in 3 seconds, literally just 3 seconds from walking away with no fatalities. The FBI SWAT moves in and starts shooting. Yep, killing pretty much all the members of the gang, including the two kids. Art is rightfully pissed off, and well, supposedly the scene was actually cut down exactly, but supposedly originally the scene was supposed to actually have Art actually physically paralyze the FBI agent. But what happens was that the agent in charge was named Hartley, and Art goes up to him and he tells him that he fucked up. Art tells him you're too stressed, and of course Art, well, let's say Hartley may want to consider retiring at this point. At least he would be if I was playing Bruce Willis' character. For example, Bruce Willis just smacks the shit out of him. Well, of course, I originally heard there was talks in the script, or maybe there's something in the novelization, but I heard a lot of people say that the guy deserved to be shot. The Hartley character, of course, he deserved to be shot. But I've actually heard somebody comment saying that you know what Hartley needs? He needs to be shot right here, paralyzing him from the waist down. Why? Because he deserved it. 4 fatalities that could have been avoided. They could have had 4 men been arrested. They had 2 men arrested and 2 kids, and 2 young teenagers walk away. All right, but no, this guy had them killed. Of course, of course, some time passes by, and there actually is a delete. And I did look up the deleted scene, and I hate to say this, but the deleted scene is a lot better than what they actually showed us in the movie. Now they assume that Art actually is extremely stressed out from his job, and of course they just decide to put him on leave or put him on stakeouts from this point onwards. Now here's the thing: there was actually a full blown hearing from a couple of other Asians, and well, rightfully so. Art tells him exactly what happened, and honestly, this scene should have been in the movie, not the alternate scene or something. But no, this scene is a lot better in my opinion. But hey, it didn't make the cut for some reason. But honestly, in my opinion, I would have kept the scene in there regardless. It basically shows Art basically telling his side of the story, and let's face it, folks, you would actually be on his side and saying that what Hartley did, he fucked up. All right, 4 fatalities. Okay, really? What about the one guy you injured? At least he's alive, isn't he? At least he's still had no fatalities, asshole. You just can't win with some of these people. You just can't win at all. So to be fair, a lot of people I've actually heard people complain about Hartley's character, but which is why we never see him again throughout the rest of we never see him again throughout the rest of the movie or the rest of the SWAT characters ever again because they're the ones who encouraged Hartley to move in. They moved in, and supposedly the original idea for the movie was that Hartley was supposed to get shot in the was supposed to get shot in the stomach, and basically the shot was supposed to hit him in the spine, paralyzing him from the waist down. That was supposedly what I heard was going to happen, but let's face it, we all want to see Hartley go through that because he deserved it. But enough about that. We actually meet our main child character, Simon Lynch. Now, here's a bit of a fun fact: the movie is actually based on a novel called Simple Simon. Huh, interesting. Except the novelization version is a little bit more different. Basically, almost the same thing, but you know how novelizations are translating the movies nowadays. Which is now a novelization I gotta look forward to, like an action thriller novel called Simple Simon. Oh yeah, I gotta look for this. I gotta look for this novel. Anyway, we find out Simon is a very autistic, but he has a talent for going through puzzles, and he's very smart. But mostly he's just intellectually shut down, because he's heavily autistic, and we see the struggles this kid has to go through on a daily basis. So anyway, his teacher gives him a magazine for him to take home, and eventually he does find the He actually, when he gets home, he looks at the magazine. He looks at He does all the puzzles relatively easily because he's a puzzle master at this point. However, there's a puzzle in there that, well, where we find out he wasn't supposed to solve. Anyway, it turns out he reads the puzzle, and yeah, he calls a number, and the number is actually connected to the NSA. Yeah, and the NSA guy in charge, well, is relatively surprised that this actually happened. That he tries to talk to Simon, but Simon says, "You are a stranger." But he tries to talk to Simon, but Simon hangs up the phone because his mother told him to. Oh, oh wow. Just wow. Huh. We actually meet our two we do meet our two other lead characters, which are 2 tech nerds by the name of Dean and Leo. They're the ones who devised the program. The program is called Mercury, and the thing is, now to be fair, what these guys did, they did the right thing practically. They did all this stuff. They did everything that was required of them to do. To make sure this code called Mercury was unbreakable. So far, it was, and from all the sounds of it, it was unbreakable. Until Simon literally just broke the code in less than 2 seconds. Why? Well, I'll get to that a little later. Anyway, they had to tell their main director by the name of Lieutenant Nicholas Kudrow of the United States of the NSA. And he's in Thailand at this point, telling them that Mercury is unbreakable; it cannot be broken. And he gets a letter. He gets a letter. He has to take a call. And he takes a call. Mercury has been broken. That's impossible. And yes, Kudrow is played by Alec Baldwin. So yeah. So he takes a flight home and he scolds the two. He scolds our two techs. He says, "So, can you explain that I did not authorize this at all? That so you want to tell me what exactly happened here? Hmm? You want to tell me how did this exactly happen?" So, well, they told me they did everything on the protocols. They followed all the protocols, but there was one thing they didn't do exactly, which of course is actually standard. Which turns out it's actually standard protocol. And to be fair, Kudrow's character is the one who massively fucked up. I mean, seriously, if you watch this movie in the end, and you have to side with the text on this one, because what Kudrow did, he's the one who royally fucked up here because these techs did what they were supposed to do. They checked out all the parameters. It worked. So that means Mercury was practically unbeatable. However, they decided to put Mercury inside of a geek's puzzle magazine. And guess what? Somebody broke the code. Wow! Surprise, surprise there, jackass. However, Cujo says that the kid's name is Simon Lynch. He is 9 years old and he's autistic. Uh, so, and the two attacks were like, "Oh my god, that explains everything." Are you telling me our $2 billion program can be broken by people of diminished capacity? No, 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 no. If he's autistic, then that means he's not. No, he's not diminished at all. It's just they see and take in everything. It's just they're emotionally shut off. So yeah, that's true. In fact, maybe the kid can be a savant. A what? A savant, sir. He can actually. He doesn't really need to break the code. It's possibly maybe he just saw the code and was able to translate it relatively easily. You know, I go to the mall and see those magic eye pictures. Oh yeah, it's like the Statue of Liberty. Guys, this is not a magic eye picture at a fucking mall. This is a $2 billion code devised by the NSA, and you're telling me this kid broke it by just looking at the code and by looking at it and just seeing the code immediately? Yes. Okay, look, we can just call the kid and we just go to the parents' house and tell them, no, no, no. You see, we're not doing that. There must be. I want you to destroy the tapes, and we cannot have anything connected to this. Got that? Oh, gee. Uh, ominous, anybody? So, what did he mean by that exactly? Well, he sends an NSA. Well, Kuzma sends an NSA agent by the name of Peter Burrell. And he's actually a former Delta Force officer. He makes his way into Simon's house, talking to his parents, saying masquerading as a cop, and he brutally murders them by gunning them down. Yeah, he's about to kill Simon until the father distracted him, and he makes sure the father is fully dead. But he missed out. But he missed Simon. Simon is now in hiding. So Burrell actually makes it look like that the father committed a murder suicide. Afterwards, we actually see, and he escapes. We later see Art and his new colleague actually working together on surveillance, and it turns out just on a bookmaking thing. Yep, nothing at all. He's just basically bored. Man, he's basically doing what I would do if I was in a situation. But his best friend agent his best friend Tom actually calls him from the agency and has him attached to a missing child case. But which of course is Simon. Now he gets there, and of course it's a murder suicide, like the police said. But however, Art points out, oh really? If these people are so great, how can he afford the $15 handgun? What are you talking about? That's an HK USP, 15 round high capacity, 15 round magazine, 9 millimeter. It's worth $1,500 on the open market. I mean, how can this guy afford that if they're struggling? Um, another fuck up these idiots in the NSA did. Okay, how can it be a murder suicide if they actually got a gun that is literally impossible for the father to own if they actually have financial troubles? Wow, what an dude! You couldn't use a fucking revolver. Are you that stupid? Oh, the answer is, folks, these guys are fucking stupid. I mean, seriously, if these guys were that smart, they'd probably use like either a 22 or a revolver. But no, they used a hot. But no, the killer used a high capacity H&K weapon that's worth what? Like that's worth $1,500 in the open market. And keep this in mind, this is back in the '90s, late '90s. So today, that's what the inflation wise, it's probably gonna be worth a few $1,000s. So yeah, smart move there, idiots. Oh. Eventually, Art actually finds Simon hiding in the walls, and he actually has the police actually take him to the hospital. And of course, Simon is actually, well, he basically lashes out, of course, because he's autistic, and he basically just goes crazy a little bit. Though Art tries his best to calm him down, to no avail. They actually get him to the hospital, put him in maximum security, and give him a mild sedative. And he finds out that Simon is actually autistic, and so he can't really question him. Art looks over, takes Simon's little handbook with everybody's names and everything, and he's just wondering how did something like this actually happen. So he later go back. So he goes back to the hospital later to check on Simon, and he's not in the maximum security anymore. He's like, "What the? Where's Simon? Oh, his parents called and actually said they put him in pediatrics. What? So, okay, you know what? Not gonna lie, seeing the look on Bruce Willis's face in this scene, I mean, wow, dude, it looked like he was about to snap at any minute. Honestly, his character should have snapped at this point and yelled at the nurse because, okay, she just said that his parents called him to get him out of put him in pediatrics. Lady, the he's the survivor of a murder suicide. His parents are fucking dead. Are you not stupid? Oh, I mean, just the stupidity of this one scene alone, I swear to God. Oh, wow. I'm surprised Bruce Willis did not smack the shit out of this woman for being that stupid. Ugh. So he makes his way up to pediatrics and he meets a doctor who actually says that Simon actually got moved down to X-ray. So he passes by the doctor and we, the audience, find out it's actually Peter Perel. Fuck. Going in to look for Simon. However, he gets, but of course, Art gets on the X-ray, gets out there. He heads back up to pediatrics, and he does find Simon, and he gets him out of the hospital. We have a real tense moment where it looks like Purdell is trying to actually kill the kid, but of course, they make it out of the hospital and steal an ambulance. And of course, as we're driving down the highway, Purdell and another assassin try to kill him while they're driving on the highway. So, of course, they make it off the highway, make it on the train tracks, and where, of course, Simon almost gets run over by a train. Art literally stays on at the last minute, and the train stops, and they take him to the next station. So, where, of course, that there's another assassin on the train trying to kill this kid. Really? I mean, 3 times in one fucking night? Are you serious? So, yeah, Art basically fights off the assassin and throws him off the train, and he gets run over. Ugh. So anyway, Art takes Simon to Tom's house, and of course Tom scolds him because now there's an arrest. There's a warrant out for his arrest because he kidnapped the kid. So Art basically tells him what really happened, and of course Tom doesn't actually believe him until until he actually sits Art down and Art tells him everything what just happened and what happened with the hospital, saying that the kid's parents called him to get him out, put him in pediatrics. And how can that be if the kid's parents are already fucking dead? So Tom's a little confused about everything about it himself. So he realizes, okay, something's not right here. All right, you're okay. You're right. Something is definitely not right. So eventually, so they get some clothes, so spare clothes for Simon, and they make it back to Simon's house. So, well, actually, Art and Simon go driving around a bit though. Meanwhile, our two tech boys actually wind up going to wind up checking on Nick, who actually has to meet somewhere in the park. And of course, he shows him the paper on what happened. That Simon is now in the wind, and his parents were murdered. And they're like, we gotta tell somebody about this. We are somebody, you idiots. We're the ones who actually killed his parents, and now he's on the loose because of us. Ruff, ruff, fly it, stupid dog. Look, maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. Okay, my wife says that my people skills are like my cooking skills, quick, tasteless. So it basically goes on telling him that how much of he's actually that we hear wow, sorry. We hear Kudrow saying how much he's a patriot, and he tells him about the people that the code is actually protecting. that then nobody must find out about this code's existence, and Simon is a huge liability. Okay, I'm pretty sure that Joe already put this guy on the A list already, but wow, dude, you can actually okay. You spent $2 billion on this code. But the thing is, these guys were doing their fucking job, and because of their job, they found out there was a massive problem with the program that some people can actually read the program relatively easily. All right, so there are some people who actually can do something like that. Right, and it's not just Simon; it's other people too. Okay, can you imagine how much of a problem this is? I mean, wow, dude, are you that fucking stupid? I mean, you could have just actually, here's what you could have done exactly. You could have actually went to the kid's house and maybe even offered to help the kid's family and actually get them in a secured location and maybe even pay for Simon's stuff. Maybe spend a couple of $1 million to make sure Simon and his family are safe rather than just, oh, we're just going to kill him off. Are you that fucking stupid? The answer is, folks, yes, he is that fucking stupid. And that's what you need to know. I need a drink. Unbelievable. Of course, later on the next day, Simon and Art make it back to their house, and of course, Simon's calling for mommy and daddy, but he doesn't understand the fact that they're dead. And Art is just basically trying to help Simon. He's trying to become Simon's friend, and he says Art is a stranger. Okay, we get it, kid. We know you don't trust him all the way, but kid, he's been trying to keep you safe literally for the last 24 hours. Let the guy a fucking break, will you? Now, eventually, Simon actually finds the book again, and he sees the Mercury code in there, and he actually calls the number again. All right, now this time the texts actually do catch up and actually try to talk to Simon, but Art actually grabs the phone away from Simon and talks to them and tells him, "Look, this is the FBI. We have this number. No, you don't have this. Not this number. No, wait. Listen. Don't hang up. I need to think about this real quick. Okay, listen. You gotta keep. Wait, is the boy with you? Yes. Keep him safe. Okay. I'm gonna set up an email account. I need you to. I want you and Simon. I need you to check the email box in the morning. The FBI and look for it. Okay. I'll see you there. We'll meet. We'll meet tomorrow. Click. What the fuck? And now Simon and Art are on the run yet again. Now, eventually, Art and Simon hide out in the library, and they actually check for the email. And of course, they actually do find the email under the name Einstein by of course entering E equals MC squared, and they find the email relatively easily. It's one of the Mercury codes, and of course, Art has Simon look at it, and he tells it's the time and date of where he needs to go. So, now, Art actually leaves Simon at a cafe with a with a woman by the name of Stacy Sebring, who becomes like one of the lead female characters. Like, okay, we're like what halfway through the movie, and we see the female lead now. Kind of late in the game, don't you think? But then again, I've seen a lot worse. So Stacy has decided to look after Simon, while of course Art goes to meet one of the techs. Now, which one is it? This one? Hmm. Well, I'm not sure if it was Dean or Leo, but either way. He actually tells him everything about the Mercury Code and tells him exactly why Simon is so unique. So unique. It's mainly because of the fact that Simon was able to look and was actually able to read the code relatively easily and just break it relatively fast just by looking at it. So now he says the biggest problem is the reason why Simon is somewhat considered a threat to Kudrow's. It's because of the fact of well, somebody can actually use Simon's ability and actually duplicate the code. Which, of course, it would have been easily solved if they actually had, paid for Simon's medication or actually helped him along his problem. But no, they just had to kill him off. What the fuck? Anyway, Peter. Anyway, Anyway, our NSA agent Peter shows up and actually kills one technician. Oh, what the fuck? Art and him actually have a bit of a running shootout, and of course, Peter disappears. And so Art actually goes to a bank where there's actually a security camera that caught the shooting. He takes the footage and he actually has Tom examine the footage, and it turns out Peter is actually part of the NSA and he's been dead for a while. Yeah. One of those nice little government cover-up things. The remaining tech and his girlfriend actually decide to go low tech and actually write a letter uh, to the uh, to the Senate and tell them what Nick Kudrow's been doing. But Peter shows up at that last tech guy's house and shoots and kills him and takes the letter. However, there's actually another copy that he actually had made of the letter. That's actually the full proof. That's actually the main page copy. The girlfriend actually shows up, finds his body, and actually takes the page and gets it to Art and brings it to Art. Hmm. Where, of course, Art is actually kind of pissed about the whole thing, but he now knows who Nick Kudrow is, and so he decides to go to Washington and pays him a bit of a visit. So, and of course, it's Art. It's actually Nick's birthday, and of course, Art decides to go to the house, and the guards actually tell Nick about the whole thing. It's like, let's see. All right, take him into the back way and bring him into the basement. All right. So, there is actually a bit of a funny line that Baldwin says. Anyway, he says it's like so nonchalantly. It's like somebody says, "Oh my God, Nick, you look so great at your age. How do you do it?" Drugs, my dear. Lots of drugs. Okay, that line was worth it. Drugs, man. Lots of drugs. Oh, it's little things like this that makes this movie work. Anyway, Nick and Art actually have a conversation about the whole Mercury project, and of course, Nick's priority is mostly due to the liquor that is mostly due with the wine that Art's been drinking. It's like, it's amazing. We're talking about codes, civilians' lives, and the murder of a young child, and the attempted murder of a young child, and your priority is the fucking wine. He throws the wine bottles around. Huh. So Nick basically goes on a bit of a rant saying that who the code's protecting and everything. And well, to be fair, there's actually and of course Art actually sidekicks him, like literally just does a karate sidekick and kicks him in the chest so hard he goes flying. He actually goes down relatively fast. So you have 36 hours to get your people the fuck out of there. Oh, by the way, Nick, happy birthday! He tips over a wine. He tips over a wine wand and breaks all the wine. Nick doesn't actually have Art killed because he knows for a fact that he has to make copy of of the letter, and that could actually damage Nick's reputation and screw him over. Well, because of the fact that Nick has fucked up throughout this entire movie, yeah, he deserves to be in prison. Right. Eventually, by the way, I should also mention that Stacy actually and Art get really close. There actually is a deleted scene when they actually get really close to. Why it was deleted? I have no idea. Maybe because of the movie's pacing, but either way, I think it should have stayed in there. But Stacy has agreed to actually watch Simon while he was away, and if anything would happen, Stacy would go straight to the FBI and go to the and ask for the witness protection program. Which, of course, something does happen, and she does goes down to the feds. All right. So Art actually makes it back to the house. He calls up Tom, says they're not there. Tom tells him, "Yeah, they're right here. There was a call that spooked her. Yeah, that was me. I was trying to get her run. Oh, okay. Anyway, Tom actually makes it to his boss. His boss is on the other hand. It's his name is he's played by Kevin Conway, Lomax, and Kudrow is actually there talking to Lomax, and he says how dangerous Art is being. And after Lomax leaves, he actually shows Lomax the letter, and he tells him everything what's been happening. And this guy Kudrow is openly responsible for several murders, and he's been hitting it on Art so they could kill the kid. I should mention that Lomax really hates Art, but at this point, he's now on Art's side. So they agreed to actually do a trade off and actually get the kid into witness protection with the U.S. Marshals. So when they get down to this main building called the GEX building, they get to the main building, and who's there? Peter and Kudrow are both there. Fuck. So they're there to actually get Simon out of there, so they can actually kill him off screen somewhere. Anyway, Lomax is watching on the security footage as the trade-off actually happens. And of course, Tommy's there with the SWAT team ready to attack. They see the trade-off going, move it! And they start rushing right in. Yeah. And of course, Peter actually opens fire. The helicopter comes in. They actually get Cujo and Simon out of there. Was able to get into the copter. However, before Cujo could get in, it's Art. Art's actually in the chopper, so it's actually an FBI chopper. And of course, Art and him get into a bit of a get into a good old fashioned fist fight. Where Simon actually does come out of the helicopter too. Now, unfortunately, during the struggle, Art loses his handgun, and well, Cujo actually loses his handgun too, but still on the roof. Simon actually winds up picking up the gun and hands it to Art as they're struggling. Art actually gets the upper hand in the fight and actually puts the gun right into Nick's throat, and of course he stops. As the firefight between Peter and the SWAT team actually progresses, it gets a little worse. Now, keep this in mind, they're in Chicago on a high rise building, and Chicago's known for being the Windy City. So many of the bullets actually hit the window, actually pierce the window, and the window cracks, and there's a chopper whizzing around, causing even more gusts. So thanks to barometric pressure, the windows completely cave in, and Peter is killed immediately by the glass going right into his face. He tries to run away from it, but no, the glass actually impales him into the skull, and he dies easily. You know what? Not gonna lie, he seems painful, so I'll give it to him. And when the SWAT team actually makes it to where Nick and Art are, but unfortunately Simon is taken by Cujo, and he's about to throw the kid off, but Pete, but of course Art shoots Cujo a few times in the chest, and he takes Simon away from him. And Cujo just looks at Art like, damn. And he falls right out the building and lands right in the fucking pavement. Yep, that has got to hurt. So yeah, Simon is now safe and Cujo is now dead. And the Mercury program, well, they don't actually say well, it's actually implied that they actually shut down the Mercury program and they got those people and they got all the spies the hell out of certain areas. So they got rid of the Mercury program because of the fact it's been flawed and Cujo had killed several civilians trying to keep it safe, trying to make sure it was flawless. Yeah, he fucked up. What can I tell you? One little massive fuck up, and the program goes straight down the shitter. What a fucking dumbass. Now, there is a bit, now as for the ending here, well, Stacy and Art are actually still together, and sometime later on, Simon's now in a foster family. He's back at the same school he used to go to, but Art decides to drop by and give him some magazine, some good old fashioned puzzle magazines because he knows how much Simon loves puzzle magazines. And Art actually says he just came by to drop off the magazines, but the teacher encourages him to actually, come in and say hi to Simon. And he says there's probably no hope or chance that Simon's going to remember me. But, however, he sits down and he says, "It's me, Art, Simon." And Simon, well, let's just say this is a very wholesome moment. He actually hugs Art because Art because Simon remembers that the living hell he had went through, Art was there to protect him, and he's actually Art. And Simon knows that Art is a good man, a friend, and his protector. So yeah, it's a very wholesome hug, and the movie ends right there on the spot. No need for an epilogue. No need. It's a good way to end the movie. And that, my friends, was Mercury Rising. Is it a good movie? Oh, it is a damn good movie. It's actually a movie I do highly recommend. It's a great Bruce Willis thriller film, and of course, Alec Baldwin playing the villain. Let's face it, folks. You may hate him, but he shines in this movie as a villain. Really good acting, by the way. Oh, I've been wanting to do this movie for a while. I'm finally happy I got a chance to do it. Yeah, don't worry. Next week, I'm going to start doing some more movies. The movies I wanted to do, but I decided not to do them. Don't worry. Next week, we'll take a look at Gene Hackman in Crimson Tide. Oh, yeah. This is a goodie. So, that's all, man. This is Sherlock Frank, signing out. I hope you all take care now.